Hey guys, we're here to bring you another episode of the Gorilla KHODDcast, where we wrap up the events for June. So today on the show, we have Hate and Loot, and probably a little bit later, Kage. He's trying to sort out some technical difficulties. Say hi, guys.
What's going on?
Hi, all.
Awesome. So today, for this month, we're wrapping up the month of June. So we're going to start off with a couple of quick topics, some very quick shop talks. The June character impact on the meta, thoughts on the Barda siege, some topics from Tewtytron, special announcements, and also talking about the summer games coming up. And then we also have a little bit of chit chat on the quality of life updates. So that's about it for the agenda today. So let's get started with some quick shop talk. So just to remind you guys of what we had, I think, was it June 1st or at the beginning of June, there was the June gem sale and the hero deals. So I believe the packs started at $1 and the hero deal started at 200 gems, and they were for the Trinity, right? They were for Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Is that right? Can't remember exactly.
It was Wonder Woman, Superman, and Flash, I thought.
Yeah, okay. All right. I think, yeah, it wasn't Batman. Yeah, it was Flash. So, all right. In this case, so for the gem pack, I went all the way to the end for the gem pack. I think it ended at around, is it $50, $60, something like that? And then
I think it ended at 50.
Okay. And then the hero one I didn't bite on because I have enough shards of all those characters. So, did any of you guys bite on the hero deals?
Yeah, we both did. We went all
we
the
got
way.
all of it.
Because you get what, rebirth crystals at the end, right?
That's right.
You get 10.
Oh, geez. That's a lot.
The 5.
Yeah.
It was 5 or 10. I think it was 10.
So yeah, you basically buy the ability to.
I think it was 10 too.
Yeah.
It actually, the way it worked out is if you bought all of the gem deals, you actually consume all of the gems that you just got to get those other packs. It uses it all. Like it's like a 1-for-1.
Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah. So, but that's if you need the characters, you make a lot more out of it. Or if you really, really, really want the rebirth crystals, right? But
Correct.
Yeah. In my case, I just bought all the gems because they were just really good deals all the way up, and then just stockpile the gems. So I had like.
It wasn't
a
a deal.
Next month, I'm doing that.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Even without the rebirth crystals, though, you got a ton of shards and XP nodes, and I mean, it was good. I hope they do it every month.
Yeah.
If they do it every month, I will take advantage of it every month. But I might not buy the packs. I might just buy the gems.
Right. Like, unlike you guys, I'm not a whale, but I do, bite on good deals. I'm basically a value hunter, I guess you could say, right? So whenever I see something that's worth value, and if I'm going to buy gems at some point anyways, I might as well buy them here, right? So that's why I saw it. I'm like, yep, I did the math. It's worth it. Just go in on it. So.
Oh, I think it was the best gem offering they've ever done.
Right. I mean, you can make an argument for the character packs since you're getting pretty good. You're almost getting a 2-for-1 deal. Like, you remember back in the day, the 2-for-1 gem deal? Where,
that was like twice, but it was amazing.
Right. So the character deal, the $100 character packs are almost in the same line as that. So you can kind of make an argument towards it. But that's if you really want, those characters. If you can get value out of the shards that way, right? But in terms of pure gems, this is as good as we can get for anything close to the 2-for-1 deals that we had back in the day. So, but anyways.
Totally agree.
Great deal.
It wasn't even that much money.
Mm-hmm.
What did it come out to at total?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I spent.
I think it was $158.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I was buying it in Canadian dollars last month when I was back home. So I think it was about almost $200 Canadian. So yeah, that makes sense. About that much. So.
Yeah, but it was like, what, 80,000 or 90,000 gems?
Yeah, it was a lot. I was like, at the end of it, I was like at over 100,000 gems. I was like, wow, that was quick. I didn't know. I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, oh, 100K.
Which normally would be over $400.
Right? There you go. So great deal. Great deal. Definitely good.
That's equivalent to the 2-for-1. Absolutely.
Yep. If you went all the way up. And you didn't have to go all the way either, because for those who just wanted to, just top off a little bit more for the next couple of months or for the next month or so, you could probably stop at like $10, $20. That was good enough, right? At that point. So So, yeah.
Ogre thinks he figured out what happened to Kage's mic. He got an STD, a system transmitted disease.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Crack me up.
That's funny. All right. Anyways, so I guess if Kage isn't joining us anytime soon, we just have to say like, well, get on his phone or something. Anyways, so let's move on with the show then. So let's start with the June characters for this month then, since we are ending June. So what did you guys think of Mr. Miracle and Barda, and then the reworks for Steppenwolf and for Ares? So, hey, why don't you go first?
Steppenwolf, he really wasn't a big change, but the little bit of changes he had made him slightly better, so he's still a phenomenal character like he always has been. He by himself, he's not, a game-changing character. He doesn't actually, using him in Siege, I started to realize that he doesn't exactly do a ton of damage, because you start to get a little annoyed with him doing 4,000 point damage unless he crits. But when he's paired with other characters to ramp up his turn meter and crit, he makes the team amazing. So he's not a great solo character, but I mean, he's not bad, don't get me wrong, but you almost don't notice any change. The tiny bit of stats increase made him slightly better, but he's still amazing. Ares went from a character that you wanted to like, who just was garbage, to a phenomenal character that can really keep your team alive. He's not a character that will scare you using an energy character, because he doesn't do a ton of damage, but that's really not what he's designed to do. And I've noticed that in this, seems like in the last little bit, they're starting to try to build more of a tanky meta, so we're stepping away from the high damage crit meta, which I'm okay with, because we've had the high damage crit meta forever. And Ares can take a hard gun dead shot to the face. He can even handle a Batwoman shot if she doesn't have too many strength ups and doesn't crit. He can keep your team alive and give all the strength up. I mean, he's a pretty awesome character. I loved Siege because of him. He was the MVP in Siege almost every time. Mr. Miracle, he's kind of a blah character. He's not bad for this, like Siege. He was good because he gives that awareness, and you could kind of give a little bit of survivability. But things to the table to have such a low damage and minimal survivability character, I would not go out of your way. If you don't have Red Robin shards, he's useful. Mm-hmm. Any reason why you would want to bring him over Red Robin ever?
So would you say? And then, would you say, for example, he's at like Ra's al Ghul level, or no?
No, he's better than Ra's al Ghul. He serves a purpose. He's still useful in a match, especially paired with Barda. But I think the star of this month, Ares was definitely a star, but Barda I just absolutely love. She doesn't do a ton of damage. She can do actually pretty decent damage with her if you have her legendary 1 and you have enough stamina ups. But her survivability is just awesome. She can die to like a Larfleeze or a Zod if they crit on her on turn 1. So you do have to give her a little bit of time to ramp, and it is a little disappointing that she's not a turn 0 taunter. But she can make your team so tanky that, I mean, you can have 2 greens and never be able to kill her if you leave her for last.
Cool. So it sounds like Kage is back now. So Kage, you're on your phone?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sure can.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do you like unplug your mic a lot from your computer? Is that what happens? Because I'm guessing that's why the settings get distorted.
Oh no, it's just a new device I was experimenting with. It was like a Blue Yeti, whatever.
Oh, you got a
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But whatever. That's beyond. Going to Barda. You know what? I think if you want to save her from like Larfleeze or Zod, you just throw in like Aquaman lead or something. I don't know. I haven't tested that yet.
Okay. I have. We'll get to that when we get to Aquaman, because I was going to bring that up. So.
Yeah. We're gonna
son of a monkey. Okay. Cool.
Alrighty. I mean, Kage, what do you think about Mr. Miracle then?
I have no thoughts. I know there are a handful of people that like him.
Wolsey likes him.
Yeah, there's a handful of people that like him, so I wouldn't necessarily write him off. I don't think anyone's really found like really good tech with this guy yet, but I I just don't. I can understand there's not gonna be a lot of appeal. He's kind of squishy to like physical damage. I think he can take special damage, but physical damage he won't take. And I know he just does really low damage, but that's not really what he's there for. He's just pure utility. I think he'll be useful later down the road as they release more characters that call for his kit. But right now, he's just in a different league than a Red Robin.
I just don't know what characters would come out that would take advantage of him doing a 50% chance to call assist and giving an awareness, a single awareness.
What about the debuff transfer, though?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't transfer a lot of debuffs. I wish it transferred like all of them.
It transfers two. A total of 2.
Then with Hal Jordan everywhere, it doesn't transfer
Doesn't really
anything.
matter.
Okie dokie. Well, okay. Well, in any case, I mean, I guess that is what it is. Well, he is just a blah character for me. In terms of this month's characters, I didn't really work on anyone to Gear 11. It was kind of just letting everyone sit around Gear 10 at the most. I wasn't really excited for anyone, but I guess we'll see for Barda for me at the end of the siege and see. I'll play around with her, see what happens. But are you guys liking her so far? I guess.
Barda's awesome.
Yeah.
Love her.
I actually just recorded a video of me going up against Hate's team with Barda in it. I didn't really pay attention to her because I was paying attention to all the blue characters. I was playing with an all-green team. So, yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to what Barda was doing because she wasn't damaging me enough. So,
I'm fighting Barda right now, and I've got 2 characters alive, Kaga and Steppenwolf, and I'm against Barda and Steppenwolf, and I'm about to lose.
oh, okay.
She's got full health, 50 bazillion stamina ups, keeps taunting. Every time you hit her, she taunts again. And she's got like, I don't know, 20 mens.
Okay. So she's basically like a really good Giganta, is what I'm getting.
She kind of reminds me of Bane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bane's a good
She's
comparison.
super tanky like Bane. And at like Bane, she takes at least like 1 turn to ramp up, or at least to get started.
I was
Damage
thinking
is similar, and she does the stun, which is similar to Bane.
All right.
I was thinking Barda was like the love child between Penguin and DOJ, and there's just like a really strange love child. But the more you hit her, the more you get annoyed because they keep taunting, keep drawing aggro. The whole team gets healthier. Yeah. With shields. So
a good counter to her is actually Black Manta.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
You used him a couple times in Siege.
yeah. Bleeds in general are also really good against these tanks. The thing is, if you pair these guys with like a Green Lantern Hal Jordan or anyone with debuff immunities, that's really annoying, right? So
I was running some teams with Prince with POT. I won't even say Thermersky or however we pronounce it.
You got it right there on your first.
Because you can't bleed, and then she transfers the bleeds over.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that a good strategy overall for these type of characters is bleeding. But then if you can protect her against those debuffs, yeah, she's quite formidable, I guess. Then, right? And anyways, Loot, I guess you didn't have a chance to talk about the reworks. What did you think about Steppenwolf and Ares?
Steppenwolf, to me, I can't tell what the difference is. Mm-hmm. So to me, he's just as good as he was before. No different. Zero difference. I just can't tell.
Okay.
And Ares, I'm not as hot on Ares as Hate Mail is. Like, I don't love him. He is very, very tanky, and at lead, he could take like 3 DSHG snipes. He can take a lot. But I feel like he doesn't really do too much as a leader. His leader skills kind of whatever. So, right? But if you use if you pair him with Wonder Girl using that skill too, it's lights out. Doesn't matter what color the enemy is. It could be red, green, or blue. Wonder Girl will beat the crap out of you. So that I like.
All right. Okay, well, that sounds good. So I guess we'll go.
And I'll give you my 1 second
Mhm.
review of Mr. Miracle. He is trash.
Oh, there you go.
Done.
I guess pretty much everyone's on the same boat about Mr. Miracle. Kind of leave him on the bench for now. Hopefully, it's kind of sad to say, but whenever a new character comes out, it's like, yeah, hopefully he'll get reworked soon. It's not a great thing to say for a new
I really wish they would do the reworks. Like, they need to start with the year one characters and rework the bad ones first, and then kind of work their way through.
Yeah. That's
instead of taking characters like Steppenwolf. Like Steppenwolf, he didn't need a rework. I'm a little disappointed. I think it was mainly because he didn't need a rework, and they're trying to do a lot of other stuff. So it's like, hey, this is a. But the only positive to it is it does give you a lot of shards availability for that character.
Yeah, but I do
That's
agree.
true.
They need to keep reworking some of the older characters first. I think Superman's due for a 4th rework. So, okay. I mean, let's move on from there to the Barda Siege. What did you guys think of it so far compared to previous sieges? Anyone?
I thought it was fun.
Let's all go at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just calling one of us DP if you don't mind.
Hey, go ahead.
This was probably the most fun siege I think I've ever played. Just because I like the character selection, and if I wouldn't have been stupid and rushed, I might have had a shot at World Finest, but during my cruise, and I played bad afterwards a couple times. I always forget how potent Steppenwolf and Donna Troy are together, and then I run in with like a full green and red team, and I never get a turn. So, but otherwise, I really enjoyed this siege. It was fun.
Fair enough. Loot or Kage? We'll go with Loot first.
I like the siege. I liked last month's siege. Last month was my favorite siege. I just liked I liked the chemistry that the characters had together, and I thought it was just so much fun. This siege, I really wanted top 10, so like I'm really playing hard every day, but I don't know. I just don't love it as much. It wasn't as much fun to me.
Yeah.
But regardless, I still played the hell out of it.
I'm with you in terms of the character availability compared to the previous siege. This month's characters feel like there's like a lack of synergy. There's just characters that don't really feel like they fit together, you know?
That's what it is. That's what it feels like.
So
I thought the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
I thought, yeah, because Ares would buffs and kept character lives. Then you had Martian Manhunter, who had the awareness, and then the awareness from Mr. Miracle that you could place on him whenever he would run out of his awareness, so you could get the call assist and the stun still. And then I liked all the strength downs from. It felt like you could build a good bonus team to face just about anything. And then I really learned to appreciate Captain Cold this time. And that was the other thing. I kept using Mr. Miracle on Captain Cold to stun against Ares and just keep him stun locked and debuffed the whole time with Captain Cold lead.
I feel the same way about Captain Cold as you do, but I'll say my piece after Kage. So Kage, what'd you think about the siege?
I thought it was really fun. You had to think about the game a little differently. In Wraith, it's all about like, run Castaway and Steppenwolf or Deadshot and Red Robin, and that just gets really boring. But this siege kind of forced you to think about, what you're doing, like playing 15,000 steps ahead and wait for a 30-minute match. And if you're an idiot, you would come down to Ares versus Ares, and it would just be a 4-hour fight.
Yeah.
I heard there are a couple people who ran into that issue, Ares versus Ares.
Yeah, we had that issue. One of the fights took me over an hour.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to put it on auto because you actually want to win. So you have to actually.
Yeah, if you put it on you could win it on auto. I clocked one of the fights. I left it on auto, and I had to bail the fight. It was over 2 hours, and there were too many stamina ups. I counted, and I posted in our channel a short video, and I had over 100 permanent stamina ups on Ares. And so did the enemy. I mean, you can't win. It will never end. And that's because I ran it on auto. When I did it on manual, it still took a long time, but at least it was winnable.
Yeah.
Why would you auto your siege battles, man? What the hell?
No, that was at the end. Like when it was just
Oh.
the Ares versus Ares. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna set it and forget it.
Yeah.
That's how Miller plays Siege. He just autos.
Oh yeah, about
Miller,
that.
Miller doesn't know how to play the game, though. He just plays everything on auto.
I mean, on the Miller topic, just a little bit of a tangent, I guess. I was only listening to the podcast where you put the 1 minute thing of Miller time calling it quits. Is he actually calling it quits or not? Because I didn't watch the video.
If you saw the next episode, the very first episode was him in like third place in Siege. I was just like, what the heck? Because we were all he submitted that, and then all of a sudden in line chat, people are posting photos of him in third place. I'm like, I guess Miller didn't quit.
Was he trolling you guys, or was he just?
No, he legitimately
He was
quit.
serious.
And then 24 hours later, he was like, okay, I'm playing again. So
Okay, and it was because of the siege that he wanted to quit. Was that was the reason why?
No, it was raids.
That was because of raids. Okay.
Yeah, raids caused a lot of people to quit.
We lost a few players.
Uh-huh. Well,
because I think it was because not only were raids terrible, but being so long, they're like, okay, this is it. And then when it was a huge disappointment, and Alexei quit too over it.
I'm super happy that there wasn't another one. And
yeah, it's kind of sad that you get like a lot of veteran players waiting for something big, and something big finally comes out, but it actually has the opposite effect on them. So, well,
Yeah, if you're playing another game that has better raids, then stick to that game.
well, okay. I mean, we're a bit off topic here. I mean, getting back to the siege. What Hate was saying earlier, I actually gained a big appreciation also for Captain Cold. He was a character that I always wanted to max out. Well, get to gear 11, because I liked his kit. I liked the way he worked, but I thought that when Mr. Freeze came out, he was a better just Captain Cold. I appreciate Captain Cold's basic a lot more now. So. One of the teams, and I'll post videos probably in the next week or so, that I came up with now that I have Captain Cold geared, is I call it Cool Stunnings, which is basically an all special damage stun-based team based around the Cold characters. So Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze, and Killer Frost. So hopefully they release more characters like Icicle and so on, so I can have more Cold characters, which will make more sense. And I run Hal Jordan Lee to sort of give me another special stunner. And also just good utility overall. But Captain Cold, even in a non-leader position, he really holds his own. His passive is really good. His basic is really good. And he has a lot of purging in his kit. And AoE purging, which is like, what's his name? World's Greatest Detective, right? So I find him super, super useful. I really like him now.
Just wish he wasn't so squishy. I mean, it's really the only knock on him is he's no life.
I think that he would be one of those characters that would be really awesome to tone down his damage and give him a kit like Chemo's kit or Mr. Freeze's kit, which is the special tank, right? So if you give him the special tank set, perfect. He doesn't need to do a lot of damage, right? So I think that would be much more fitting. Like, he seems like he should be like a Mr. Freeze style character anyways, right? So yeah. There you go. So maybe potential rework in the future for him. But I guess from there, since we're done with the Siege talk, since it's wrapping up tonight, right? So let's move on to what's the next topic? Tewtytron's topic.
And congratulations to Sheriff Lobo, real quick. He's going to take World's Finest, unquestioned. So.
Okay, there's quite a huge gap, I'm guessing then.
Yeah, I'm second place, and he's
it's
like
not
200 points ahead of me.
M4 is also pointing out that he's a 3-time champ, so that guy.
He's an incredible player.
That guy.
He's the king of Siege.
Do you know why he's really good? Because he doesn't play the game on auto.
As M4 says, I'm the first loser. So,
oh, I see. You're second place. I see. That's why.
not first, you're last.
That's why you know. That's why you're congratulating him.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So again, congratulations to Sheriff Lobo. And from there, let's move on to the next topic, which is Tewtytron's topic for the month. Aquaman and Nightwing in the meta. What do you guys think? So I'm going to start off real quick with Aquaman. I really like him. I like him in terms of bleeds. I like him in terms of mending. And I like him in terms of stunning. And his leadership is really good. He doesn't have a lot of... He's not really bad, per se. It's just that he feels outclassed by other characters. Nightwing, I wasn't really a big fan of Nightwing, so I don't really have much to say on him. But what do you guys have to think about Aquaman or Nightwing? Let's go with Kage. What do you think about these characters?
Nightwing was always kind of bleh. I remember when he was first released and I was collecting shards on him. I was super excited because he's got like all these call assists and everything. And then start using it, I'm just so underwhelmed. I'm like, wow, this guy does like terrible damage. His call assist is very underwhelming, and he wasn't that fun for me to play. So even after the rework, I just never found him that fun to play. I know if you're like a Titan's head or whatever, then yeah, you'll probably enjoy it more. But to me, he could probably use like a third or fourth rework. And then there's
This 3 isn't going to be enough.
yeah, I don't know. He might need like a fifth rework just to get him perfect. And then there's I guess Aquaman I've always liked. His kit's interesting. Turn meter and bleeds, like you said. I don't really care for special damage because I don't have a fetch for that. But I really thought he was going to have a really good place in the meta with like Deadshot and Red Robin running around, but he's just not that good of a counter because it's Red Robins and Castelli's out of turn attacks that takes off your crit immunities, and then it's just, kind of pointless to run Aquaman. You might as well just run someone else, like a really good tank like Clayface or Barda up here soon, even Donna Troy. So he's not that good of a leader. I really wish they'd just rework his leadership to like make it an innate crit immunity. At least
to be a passive. He would be such a viable character if that was a passive.
Yeah. Something.
And let his debuff immunity be 1 turn. Like just be automatic instead of 50%. It could be 1 turn, unlike Hal's where it's 2 turn, but let it be, that could be purgeable, but it could start with that. He would suddenly be a viable leader.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So
yep.
Luke, what do you think about these characters?
I think Nightwing's terrible. I think he needs to rework another one, and I will not use him without it. Because I think it's like, if you want to lose, just use Nightwing.
Okay.
Aquaman was one of the characters, that was one of the first characters I like totally wailed on. I remember it was when the game first came out. I think it was in December, like just a couple months after the game came out. And that was when the the Emerald Archer meta was like in full effect. So he was the counter, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So I took him all the way to L5, like in that December, just to like make my life easier. And I liked him for a really long time, and then he kind of fell off, and even past his rework, I don't see the need to use him.
Cool. Alrighty.
I think he needs something needs to change to make him a character that you want to use.
It seems
it's not even that. I think he could, I don't know, he could just use the Black Adam treatment, really.
Yeah.
Total new kit.
Yeah. I wish he'd have a more reliable way to get bleeds too, because just bleeds on his third. He just depends on so many other bleed characters to get him to work.
Well, the problem with Aquaman, and I find it was the problem from the very beginning, was that he was the middle ground between Siren and Mira, because Siren was all about bleeds, Mira was all about mends, and Aquaman's like 50-50, right? I think that he needed to not just be in the middle. He needed to pick one lane and go that way, I think. But, whatever, it is what it is now. But, hey, I guess I'll give you the last word on these two characters, and you have any...
I've been messing with Aquaman with Barda, and they do seem to mesh pretty well. The only downside is that a lot of Aquaman's kit is negated by Hal Jordan, and there's just so many Hal Jordans that you face anymore. Teams, I'm finding that to be pretty useful. And then also I've been pairing them with Hawk Girl because I've just been messing with her a lot lately and keep everyone alive so well. that seems to mesh pretty good. And then you can get the crit. You can bounce between the crit immunity between both Aquaman and Hawkgirl. So I'm having fun with them. Aquaman, I'm gonna mess with some more teams. I have some video of a couple different teams I used Aquaman on with Barda against non-Hal Jordan, and even against Hal Jordan teams, and it works fairly well. And I do like him. I like him on my stun teams when I'm facing Jordan teams.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also, you can whip off Hal Jordan's debuff. I mean, at least it can be removed. So then, but he's just so fast, so he goes early. So a lot of times you don't want to open with his 3.
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing, kind of echoing what everybody else says. He always just leaves you underwhelmed. He's got a decent kit, but you just always get disappointed. The double call assist is a pretty good ability. I've run him with characters that you want to double use their basic, typically. One team I have found when I was just experimenting with weird stuff, and I can't believe how good this team is, amazingly, is I was running Nightwing, Clayface, Firestorm, and Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And that team does extremely well.
Okay. So I guess
That's
I have some video of it.
The out of turns attacks I'm getting.
I mean, it's a combination of out of turn attacks, then Nightwing. I mean, can nuke any of the physicals, and then invisibility from Clayface, and so Nightwing's flipping all over the place using his passive basic, and then Junior. I don't know why I decided to pick him. I just was saying I'm just going to use unusual characters, and Junior's good because he can always take out. Like, he's got enough in his kit that he can kind of handle the other stuff. So obviously this team would never work against Wonder Girl, but against non-Wonder Girl teams, which are much, Wonder Girl isn't on every single team anymore, so I could bust her out. But I was using this team against like the higher gun deadshot led typical team that you see, and it does really well. So while he's not a great character, you can make him usable in some cases.
Yeah, but you have to really build around him to make him good. So it's tough.
Yeah, or build a team that doesn't really need him.
Yeah. M4, he was saying in chat that you could pair him with Beast Boy, for example, get lots and lots and lots of out of turns attacks, and then you lose. And then, but it would be funny that because we're saying how bad he is or how hard it is to build around him, it would probably be very fitting for WB listening to this podcast to make him a Siege tune, as M4 was pointing out.
And then we'll suddenly like him because we played him in Siege for a month.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess that is what it is. Hopefully, Tewtytron, you can get enough info from that and maybe plan around those teams in the future, as Hate was describing. And from that, we'll move on to the next topic, and I'll turn it over to Hate.
So, if you didn't listen to the previous announcement earlier, Ogre Barbarian has returned to DC Legends, so he will be doing some episodes again. We're actually going to record an episode late this afternoon, probably to come out next week. And fully returning to the podcast, obviously he's got a weird schedule, so it's difficult for all of us to get on or have different groups. So we're going to kind of bounce around. Now that DP has his mic fixed, he should be able to record. He's available more during Ogre's times than I am typically. So he'll be able to record more easily. And then Kage is supposed to be able to record, but he never does. So we'll see how that goes. But, so we might be able to do some different pairings so we can pump out content a little bit more, because sometimes it's difficult for me to always record.
In terms of also, I mean, for scheduling purposes, also let's try and keep things more consistent in the future. I guess this time slot for the KHODcast has been pretty good for most people, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah, this
is perfect.
Yeah. So why don't we just not really set it in stone, but let's say at around, early morning-ish at the last Sunday of the month to be our KHODcast timing from now on.
I think that works. That's
fine.
Pretty much what we've been doing, but
all right, fair enough. So welcome back, Ogre. Hopefully, oh wait, is Ogre back on his original account, or is he starting a new account?
He started a new account.
Okay, and the reason is because he just wants to sort of take things, from the beginning again, or is it because he was tired of his old account? Hello? Oh no. I don't know.
The beginning part of the game. I asked him. the same question.
Oh, yeah, my computer froze for like literally 30 seconds, or 20 seconds there. It's okay now. I see. All right, there we go. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay now. I think I lost maybe about 10 seconds of audio. And for some reason, computer's like starting every program on my taskbar. Hold on 1 second.
Just check the recording. Just make sure it's still recording and we're good. Okay.
It's still recording. I'm just closing a bunch of stuff right now. It started my iTunes for some reason. It opened my Battle.net, my Steam. I don't know what's going on here. All right. Anyways,
to get back to Ogre, he was saying that he kind of got bored because he's at endgame and he's not as into PvP as a lot of us are. And if you're not real into PvP, there really is nothing else. Obviously, raids he wasn't happy with either. So, but he enjoys the PvE content, the early content. So he wants to kind of do the game in the experience of somebody who just found DC Legends a couple months ago or a month ago and it just started playing. And I think that's good for us for the podcast because we have a lot of new players or free to play who kind of very, very casually played, and he can kind of give that perspective because most of us, even though those of us that aren't, crazy whales, we still we're end game players because we've been playing since the beginning. So, Patty Mac says he's probably just having a midlife crisis, trying to recapture his youth. So.
That's funny. We're talking about Ogre, right? Yeah. Alrighty. So
that's what all of us are doing on this game.
All right. So from there, so hopefully we'll be back in. If we can swing things for the next podcast, no promises though. Maybe we'll have a nice big full cast for next month's show.
This is early for Ogre. Is the problem?
It is really, really early for the.
He's West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you guys an idea, we literally have almost everyone on every time zone in North America. I think we're missing like one time zone, right? And then I'm on the other side of the country, or sorry, on the other side of the planet. So sorry. So literally the opposite time of the day. So
Doom is never here.
Doom was here once, I think, or twice. And during the Osmonds, he was there maybe about 4 out of like the 10 or 15 times we did it. So yeah, anyways, that is what it is. So what else were we going to do? The next announcement also, turn it over to Hate again.
The other thing we're going to start doing, and the reason I thought of this was because I had bought I was at GameStop several months ago, and they had all these Darkseid and socks for DC, so I bought them all. But unfortunately, I wear size 14 shoes, and all the socks I buy are crap. They're always all too tight. So none of them fit me. So I figured I'll auction them off for our return of our summer games. We haven't decided exactly what we want our summer games to be, but reward. So I have unused, unworn, really cool. They're not worn. M4.
What if the viewers want worn?
Darkseid. If you really want, if you want to take them, if you're into that, you want to sniff them. I can send you the one.
This is the premium one.
One worn set.
Those are the ones that are for being $100 patron.
Worn socks. So
has hates DNA.
Awards. We'll probably do gift cards like we did last time for either Google Play or iTunes. But we're gonna come up with some fun, interesting games.
Hey,
so
just out of curiosity, I wasn't playing last summer. That was during my break. What are the summer games?
Last year we did our summer games, which was we had different contests for the community to win a gift card or some kind of prize. One of them was the lowest powered team beating the highest powered team. So we had a couple different versions of those. We had the most unique team that could beat, at the time the Batgirl meta was raging strong. So we had the most unique team beating the Batgirl schedule or Batgirl meta. Then on using a Katana / Black Canary team, which was pretty awesome. Then we had another one where it was the most epic loss, and what was inspired by that video I sent you of Kage, just his entire team, just all of a sudden at the very end dying to Power Girl.
Everyone just could
know exactly what we're going to do for this yet, but we'll come up with some ideas, and we'll roll that out within the next couple weeks.
Awesome. That sounds fun.
People seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah, and you don't have to necessarily be a patron to participate. It's free for anyone to participate. So you guys just feel free to submit videos either on Reddit, or on Patreon or wherever it is, on Discord, online, so that and just make sure you tag us so that someone knows where to find the videos. That's about it, right? Anything else regarding summer games, or can we move on?
That's it.
Okay.
Some more coming.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up the show now with the quality of life updates before the end. So they rolled out the first batch of quality of life updates, which involved 3 times speed now. And when you put it on 3 times speed, it turns off the sound effects, and it also turns off the close-up animations. And was there anything else I'm missing? Oh, right, the roster change. So whenever you go into a hero page from your roster and you back out of it, it doesn't go to the beginning of your roster. It just it continues where you left off, so that you can keep scrolling to the left or right from where you were. So that was a nice change too. So what did you guys think about those changes so far? Hey, why don't you go first?
I love 3x because I'm impatient, especially doing PvE and everything else. Just having the speed to be able to fly through it. And the other nice thing, and this is a stupid reason, but whenever I want to post video to the CC, it has to be under 100 megabytes, and post some of the longer matches, because usually the match has to be under 1 minute and 30 seconds for me to be able to post it, and that the speed allows it to be able to do that. One other thing people were mentioning in the chat, we can confirm that this is the first batch. There is more quality of life coming. We don't know how much or what's included in that, but we know that this isn't it for the quality of life.
Right. So they have mentioned to us that there's going to be more coming. I'm taking that to meaning maybe either the end of this month, in the next week or so, or maybe at the beginning of the next month. But
I think there's probably going to be multiple waves of things. Yeah. Just they're slowly going to trickle out over time.
So,
and that's, you know what? I like that model. Yes. That's okay. I'd rather have a little bit every couple weeks than wait a year for one package.
Right. And imagine if there was problems with the updates, right? So that if you only do 2 or 3 at a time, and if there's a problem, you can fix those before getting on to the next ones. If you release like a dozen of them or more, and then you have to find out what the problems are. You have to like debug and fix everything all at once. It's just a big pain, right? So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So good on them. Thanks for listening to the community and what people have been suggesting for the quality of life changes, and hopefully we'll have a nice, smoother, and elegant looking game here in the next couple of months before the end of the year is out. So yeah, so far so good, right? With that, anything else before we move on to wrapping up the show, or nothing? No one? All right. Okay, cool. So we'll wrap up the show then. I think we're pretty good on time. So we'll just give a shout out, as we do always, to Tewtytron at our Bruce Wayne level, which is his recent upgrade. Actually, he upgraded last month, but because of our audio troubles last time, we didn't get to that part of the recording, I think. But yeah, his if you're at the Zatanna level or higher, you get to have a topic suggestion like he does every month. So if you want to visit our Patreon page for more information. And then I'd like to give a special shout out to our newest patrons. Most of them joined last month, but I'll give them another shout out this month because of our audio troubles last month. David D, Chazal 09, Armaden M4Y15, Emmanuel O, Louie, Kevin R, Adam C, and Kyle F are our recent patrons at the $1 Jimmy Olsen level or higher. And just a reminder to, I think, the last 4 of you, Louie, Kevin R, Adam C, and Kyle F. I don't think you guys are already on Discord, but I've sent messages to you guys. If you want to get your Patreon roles, just hit me up and I will get you guys set up as soon as possible. And again, we have already surpassed our $50 goal last month, which means we'll be working on a website. I think Hate was talking a little bit about that. Did we talk about that last month? Or
yeah, we had some guy that had reached out to us that was helping us work on a website, and I'm not sure what happened with that. But we still have the DC Legends Online, which has been being regularly updated with everything. All of our info has been on there. We'll have the new tier listing coming out next week, so that'll be included on the website. And then one other thing we forgot to mention during the Ogre announcement was I think we're going to we haven't decided on the goal. I'm leaning towards, $75? Once we reach $75, we're trying to do a fundraising for Ogre for devices. Because part of the reason he hasn't been on is that he does not have, his phone can't handle it. So we're thinking about doing some kind of Android device because they're much less expensive than the iPads. So we might be using some patron funds to try to work on that. So we can promise some more content if we can get Ogre up and running with a proper device.
He's an Android user anyways, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, maybe we can like GoFundMe or something like that.
Yeah, or Kickstarter or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, or just if we get to our $75 goal, something like that, we could do it too.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you guys an idea about the Patreon funds and how you guys are helping us build this podcast, really. To give you an idea, if you guys noticed the quality of my mic, it's thanks to you guys. From the Patreon funds, we were able to buy me a blue Yeti Nano microphone, thanks to Hate helping me out with that. So hopefully the quality of my sound sounds better, and it'll mean less editing and stuff like that, and more time efficiency from our end. Also, in terms of the website, as Hate was saying, hopefully things will be more streamlined in the future. I will try and get more involved with that too. And also, from that first goal, I remember that we promised to have ringtones available at some point. I have 2 currently that are ready to go, and we need to work on a couple more. So for Patreons at the $1 level or higher, you'll be able to get ringtones. I'm not going to make any promises. Hopefully by the end of next month, I will try my best to get those out. And if you guys check on our Patreon page at the $75 goal, once we reach that, we promised to start merchandising, and we're not that far off. We're at $50 already. So, if we get another dozen or so patrons, it's very feasible, very possible that we get merchandising going in the future. So if you guys want to see t-shirts, mugs, stickers, or whatever with a lot of WRL or like DC related stuff on it, we could probably make that happen. So just keep an eye out. If you have any suggestions on some ideas for merchandising, please drop us a comment in YouTube, Reddit, or wherever it is that you want to get in touch with us, and we'll probably consider that.
One other thing I want to mention too, we added for the patrons, we brought back the patron-only episode. So this month is a little late, but it'll be coming out early next week, and we talked through some of our that Luke didn't want us to publish. So if you're a patron, you'll actually get access to that, because I had to cut that out of the last show. That went up.
Yeah, and the SBO is saying all he wants is hate socks. So SBO, if you want to be a patron, we'll make a special role for you and a special tier for you. And if you join, you'll get I'm not gonna say monthly, let's say annual subscription to Hate Sock Drawer. All right, so that actually we could do that. this could be part of our merchandising, our product line. Hate socks.
Let's go into Hate's wardrobe.
All right.
Hey, I want your suits. I bet you wear nice suits, man.
You have nice suits, quite a few of them.
Anyway, so that's fine. All right.
I have a Riddler suit.
Oh wow. Yeah, you should probably put,
That's cool.
You should probably do something like that for Halloween.
Yeah, I did it for for MegaCon a couple times.
Okay, awesome. Anyway, so if you guys want to be heroes like the guys we mentioned at the end of this podcast and help us keep the lights on, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/WROL broadcast. I can't talk today. Okay, so anyways, any last words, guys, before we wrap it up?
Nope. I'm eating breakfast, so I'll see you guys later.
Later.
Hey everyone, it's Tewtytron. Thank you for listening to WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. You know I'm going to play this back and forth because I need DP's smooth daddy voice to sing me to sleep. See you later, guys.